Hello everyone, welcome back to the Frontline Report channel. Please subscribe and like my videos because today we dive deep into one of the most gripping and consequential conflicts of the modern era. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, examined through the lens of hard numbers, real data, and the cold statistics that reveal the scale of this ongoing war. From the very first shots fired in February 2022 to the shifting front lines of 2025, this confrontation has not only redrawn borders, but also reshaped global politics, economics, and security. Let's unpack what the numbers tell us about the exterior picture of this war, what lies beneath the surface, the performance of each side, the measures taken to protect civilians, the unique aspects of this conflict, the staggering economic cost, and finally, what all of it means for the world. When we look at the exterior of the conflict, the sheer geographical scope is staggering. Russia, the world's largest country by landmass, deployed forces across a front stretching more than 1,000 kilometers. Ukraine, roughly the size of France, has seen over 20% of its territory contested or occupied at different times. Satellite imagery shows craters, destroyed infrastructure, and blackened cities from Kharkiv to Kherson. Over 8 million Ukrainians have fled the country since the initial invasion, creating Europe's largest refugee crisis since World War II. Inside Ukraine, the displacement numbers are even larger. Over 5 million internally displaced people moving from frontline regions to the west. The physical devastation includes more than 150 residential buildings damaged or destroyed, over 3,000 schools hit, and hundreds of bridges and rail lines torn apart, leaving a scar that will take decades and hundreds of billions of dollars to rebuild. The interior reality, within homes and cities, is felt most keenly by the people living amid constant air raid sirens and power outages. Ordinary families spend nights in underground shelters and converted metro stations. Generators and makeshift heating solutions keep apartment blocks alive during winter. Despite this, a remarkable sense of community and resilience thrives. Children attend improvised classrooms in basements, and local volunteers organize food distributions and medical aid. The daily life of civilians tells a story of courage that raw statistics can only partially capture. From a performance standpoint, military analysts track an almost dizzying array of figures. Russia began the war with roughly 190 troops massed on Ukraine's borders. Today, estimates suggest over 500 Russian personnel have rotated through the conflict, while Ukraine has mobilized more than 1 million men and women. The war has seen the largest use of drones in combat history, with tens of thousands of UAV sorties recorded. Precision, guided missile strikes, artillery duels measured in tens of thousands of shells per day, and tank losses exceeding 15,000 combined illustrate how technology and attrition define this conflict. Western aid has been another key performance indicator. The United States alone has committed over $170 billion in military and economic support, the European Union and its members more than $90 billion, and dozens of other nations have contributed everything from anti-aircraft systems, humanitarian packages. Safety measures for civilians and infrastructure have evolved rapidly. Ukraine has deployed an intricate air defense network using Western, supplied Patriots, NASAMS, and IRIS-T systems, intercepting a high percentage of incoming missiles. Bomb shelters have been reinforced across major cities, and early warning apps deliver real-time alerts to millions of smartphones. Humanitarian corridors negotiated through international mediation have allowed the evacuation of thousands, though ceasefire violations remain frequent. Meanwhile, international organizations track war crimes and civilian casualties, pushing for accountability and justice. The United Nations reports that verified civilian deaths number in the tens of thousands, but independent estimates run far higher, underscoring the grim reality of urban warfare. What sets this conflict apart, its unique selling points in the tragic marketplace of war, is how it has redefined 21st century geopolitics. It is a war fought not only on the ground but in cyberspace, with massive cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure. It is also a conflict of information, where social media campaigns, satellite intelligence, and citizen journalists play a central role. The unprecedented unity of Western nations in imposing sanctions on Russia, freezing over $300 billion in Russian foreign reserves, and restricting technology exports has reshaped global economics. The surge in global energy prices, the disruption of grain exports from Ukraine's fertile fields, and the ripple effects on food security in Africa and the Middle East show how a regional war can become a worldwide crisis. The price of this war is almost incalculable. Ukraine's economy contracted by more than 30% in the first year of invasion, though it has stabilized somewhat thanks to international aid. The World Bank estimates rebuilding costs already exceed $500 billion and climb every month. Russia, despite initial resilience, faces long-term economic decline due to sanctions, capital flight, and the cost of sustaining a massive military operation. Global markets have absorbed shocks in energy, food, and manufacturing. Ordinary citizens in Europe and beyond have felt the price through higher heating bills, inflation, and supply chain disruptions. As we reach a conclusion, the numbers provide a stark but essential framework for understanding this conflict. More than 500,000 combined military casualties, millions displaced, trillions of dollars in global economic impact. These figures speak to a scale unseen in Europe since 1945. Yet behind every number is a human story, families separated, soldiers lost, cities rebuilt brick by brick. The war has tested alliances, revived NATO's mission, and forced nations to rethink security. Whether the conflict ends in negotiation or continues as a grinding stalemate, the Russia-Ukraine war has already rewritten history. Its numbers are not just statistics, they are the ledger of human endurance, sacrifice, and the high cost of geopolitical ambition. Remember to stay informed, question sources, and support humanitarian efforts where possible, because the data may tell the story, but humanity must write the ending.